Welcome back, everyone. Research Week's podcast here in Heidelberg for the EACD and the IAACD 2025 Conference. It's lunchtime here right now, and I'm joined by a friend, Professor Hercules Leite. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so happy to be here again with you guys.
And so great.
Yeah, so great. And especially in Heidelberg.
Yeah, it's
so
an
many
amazing
beers
place.
and this environment.
Yeah, it's a huge conference, isn't it? A huge conference, a lot of people, a lot of topics. Where do you even start sometimes, isn't it? There's so much there, but I love that there's something for everyone.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. Well, you're presenting a lot. And so I thought I'd want to home in on the F words lens tool because that has been very topical lately. I'm a huge fan of the F words. You clearly are a huge fan of the F words. You're wearing an F words shirt. For goodness sake, aren't you? It's brilliant. I'm so glad that we can meet people who are so passionate about something that has so much meaning. So let's start from talking about why the F words and how did the lens tool even come into place?
Yeah.
Tell me the story.
Yeah. Great question. And thank you, Dana, for this opportunity. I think we do need to share this new F word, the F word lens tool. So briefly, this new tool was developed by a team of experts, researchers, but also we got involved with patients.
Right. Yeah.
A mother of a child with cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
And two clinicians.
Right.
Along the process. But this story just began because we were running a scoping review. So Ana Carolina Campos, Ginny Paleg.
Great scoping review, yes.
So they just published a beautiful paper looking at ingredients for children with cerebral palsy, looking at the F words for non-ambulant children. And then when we saw that published, and as you know, I have been working closely with children with GMFCS levels 1 to 3 because it's related to sports. Yeah. And then I asked Egmar, would you mind if you keep studying and looking at that? Because we are very interested on children with CP GMFCS levels 1 to 3. Not at all. Go ahead. Let's do it. Let's do that together.
Yeah.
And then Egmar joined us, and then we ran like a scoping review, looking at the ingredients, using the F word for child development framework. But we also add a new framework, the RTSS, the Rehabilitation Treatment Specification System.
Right.
Yeah, and this framework that was developed by colleagues from USA, from different universities. I'm not gonna say that here at the moment. I can't remember, but this framework highlights what ingredient is, what is mechanism of action. So how to that you need to measure outcomes directly and indirectly.
Right.
So just briefly around that.
Yep.
And when we were summarizing our data, we realized that we did need something to better represent the findings.
Right.
And then during the press, at the end of the process, we realized that we had developed a new F word lens, a new F word tool.
Surprise!
Yeah, surprise. Yeah. I talked too much. Sorry.
I love that story. It's absolutely fantastic. So you didn't set out to do it.
No.
It kind of happened as a natural progression of where the research led you.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so, so now let's focus in on the lens tool then. So now that you've given it a great name, what does it look at specifically? And let's start there. I've got so many questions. Let's start there.
Great. So this tool. So again, we mixed F words and the RTSS because the RTSS, it's. I think when we read at first, it's difficult to understand. It's difficult to catch.
Sure.
So our idea was to put them together with the F words and then try to use a plain language.
Sure.
In order to for clinicians and families use that together.
I see.
So this is a collaborative new tool. The idea is that when we are assessing and discussing and reflecting with families during the assessment process, we use that tool, and then we're gonna share our experiences and then the family's experiences and perceptions and thoughts.
Wow.
So just a brief overview.
Yeah.
So I believe that from this moment, everybody, of course, will download the manual and the tool from the Kenchild Hub, Kenchild website.
Yep.
So in the first column of the F words lens tool, we have like different questions. So, for example, what is your F word goal? What ingredients should you select in order to achieve this goal?
Beautiful.
Then you have how do you believe this ingredient might work?
Great.
And then what do you expect to change directly after this goal when the goal will be achieved?
Yeah.
And then indirectly. And the last question at the bottom, we're gonna discuss with family and reflect with families names and brands of possible therapies.
Right.
But I think this is important to highlight that our idea with this tool is try to move from choosing all the time, picking all the time, labels, brands, intervention names all the time. I don't know, therapists and researchers for a long time, they love to put names in everything.
Yeah.
And our idea is to first identify the ingredients, the mechanism of actions, and how the intervention works. And at the end, if necessary, to start looking at possible treatments and interventions.
Beautiful.
Because, for example, sometimes families, they just use potential ingredients in their routine. And they are not giving names.
Yeah,
do you agree?
That's right. I agree. Yeah.
When they are practicing a task, when they are brushing their teeth or whatever, walking, running. Yeah, this is
not naming it.
Not naming
no.
it. Yeah.
It's just doing it. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So the idea is to move from our comfort zone and try to use less names and brands because we have a lot, as you know, and start looking at the ingredients.
That's beautiful.
And it's beautiful because when we present this tool to Peter Rosenbaum, the Kenchild team, we was really afraid, really. Oh my goodness, how we did that?
Sorry, didn't mean to, but we're here.
No. I think we developed a potential too, but we are afraid to show it to you.
That's so cool.
And then when they saw the picture of the figure, they said, "I don't know how we didn't do this before."
We've made it come to life. Yeah, it's fantastic. And as you're describing that, well, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Great work. So useful and needed. Will make a huge impact. I would say that even the questions you put there, in my head, I'm like, they're coaching questions. You know, you're actually helping to support therapists and families to take that journey together.
Yes.
And to foster that communication. And if you are a new therapist meeting with a family for the first time, what a nice way to have almost a roadmap of having a discussion without that awkward, what do you like to do? And this gives you a structure, doesn't it?
Exactly. And it was funny because at first when we developed, we were really, how can I say, because the RTSS, there is a specific language and terms.
Yeah.
And we were like, no, we need these terms, we need that, we need this. And then Olaf, he said, no.
Enough of that.
No. You guys need to do this in partnership with families. Because our idea at first was to to build a tool where the clinician could, for example, write down their clinical reason and then present to families.
Right. Okay. Yep.
And then when he said that, oh my goodness, what you gonna do right now? And then we start trying and interviewing families using the F words lens tool. And then when we start that, and families start saying things that we were expecting, they said.
Yeah.
Like, how do you expect this ingredient might work? I think that something on the brain needs to change.
Fantastic.
I said, oh my goodness, I just can't believe
that's
you
right. So it
said
facilitates that thought.
Yes.
That's beautiful. Goodness me. So this is something that we can certainly use within our clinical practice. Does it matter what language that you speak? Do you feel like it's something that anyone can use?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah? Okay, great.
So the manual right now is, we have 3 versions.
Okay.
So English, Portuguese, and Spanish.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Covers a lot of the speaking languages.
So, and now there are people from, I think there are someone from Netherlands.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. They'll start to spread from there. That's wonderful.
Translating.
Yep.
And everyone is welcome to translate to their culture and language.
That's fantastic. And you can get it through the CanChild website at the moment. It's fantastic. I guess one last thing to finish up on, because this is going to be so useful. Why the F words?
Great.
Why? What's the big deal?
Yeah. I think the F words represents the family's voices, the child's voices, and there is so much power on it when we use F words and the F words sheets. The families, they feel so represented. Oh my goodness, I just can't believe that I just see something that is representing what I always would like to say, but I didn't know how.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right, I do. Because everything's usually just very medicalized.
Yes.
And this is about them.
Yes.
Their life, their world, their perspective,
exactly.
values and importance.
And the F words also expands the focus. So it's not just looking at body function and structure.
Right.
So fitness.
Yeah.
But it's quite important to look at functioning, fun, friends, family, and future.
Yeah. What more can you ask for in a tool to be able to think about life, right? It captures it so beautiful. You know, we've spoken to Peter before about how the F words even came about, and it was kind of a funny thing that Peter's wife had said, hey, look at all these, right? Like, who would have thought that back in, was it 2012 when it was published?
Yeah.
Would transform the way we think so much. And that's just so important.
Exactly.
So, gosh, fantastic. Thank you for sharing this with us. I can't wait to get a hold of it. I can already see how this can be used in so many contexts already. And this is the kind of work that we need to support families, because ultimately, you talk to any family, the common thread, and Raina showed that last night, International Voices, the common thread is, it doesn't matter who you are, when you're a parent, you just want the best for your child.
And that's our goal at the end.
Yeah. How can we make that possible? So thank you for your work you've done here.
Thank you so
Absolutely
much.
love it.
Thank you.
We'll catch up more throughout the conference, I'm sure.
For sure.
To all of our listeners, I hope you really enjoyed that. That was just super fun. And I do need to make a point, just so that you know. We have F word shirts here. So if you want to buy an F word shirt, where do we buy them from?
I don't know. Jeannie's,
we need to talk to Jeannie.
You can ask Jeannie. And Jeannie's
here. Jeannie's right
share
here.
the link.
Okay. All right. So we need to find a way to get these F word shirts around, because they're just like, it's the converts, right?
Yeah.
So we need to, Jeannie's here right now with a F words dress. So it is available. It's there. So if you're looking for that, I don't know, get in touch with me and I'll find a way to get in touch with you. Does that sound all right? But to all of our listeners, talk to you all again really soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.